Creator and person Sab Nino here. This video is history because I got my very first sponsorship and I am so excited. But I have gotten free review copies of some Area X sets and some Bellotti sets. A brand that I haven't even tackled on this channel before. And they're all SpongeBob, so you guys will watch. But before I delve into that, first off, I want to show off the Snap and Switch SpongeBob TV. I think this is one of the better Snap and Switch builds. It's really cute, and I actually did own a SpongeBob TV that looked almost just like this. The gimmick is to recreate episodes, but the only one you're really able to recreate is Hello Bikini Bottom, so I wish they give you more options for other SpongeBob episodes. Maybe put this in the above Five Below section, but as it stands, it's a really cute display piece. But enough about Snap and Switch, let's get into today's sponsor, and then we will talk about the Area X sets because, well, the Bellotti sets haven't shipped yet. This video is sponsored by Barweer. Let's face it, as much as LEGO is cool to build, sometimes it's either out of our price range or are missing key brands that you might be interested in. For me, SpongeBob has been lacking in the LEGO space, so imagine my surprise that this website has just about every good SpongeBob brand under its branch. Don't like SpongeBob? No problem, because it has other cool stuff too, from movies to anime. It even has different building methods such as micro bricks and Technic. These sets come from all over the world, so some warehouses provide special deals. From the US, the EU, and the one currently having special deals, China. Plus, if you want an even better discount on items and want to support the channel, use the promo code SABNINO to get 14% off on certain items. As someone who loves showcasing niche and obscure merchandise on the channel, having Barweer as a sponsor is a great way to do just that. Thank you for listening, and now back to the video. The first set is this SpongeBob. These are made for the 25th anniversary. I know the SpongeBob and the Patrick have like a name? Okay, I found the instructions. These are called Good Friends SpongeBob and Patrick. SpongeBob is misspelled. And I have both of them. I can't stress this enough, but I got these for free. These would have been like $60 otherwise, which is still a pretty good price on their website, but I just appreciate it. And one thing I appreciate about this line for the 25th anniversary is how they actually credit the artists they use in every single product. And this one is made by Andrew Kolb. It's hard to see because the instructions are kind of folded, and he is from Canada, which is really cool. And according to the instructions, he is an illustrator who grew up on SpongeBob, so I could imagine him being really happy about this collab. My copy didn't come with a box, but I did get this piece of paper. There's nothing on the back. And we also got this, which also has a lot of other artists who were featured in the collab. I think this is the artist that inspired the Area X sets. I know these were on a puzzle, same with this one. Okay, this is one of the Area X sets. I know this one was a part of the Krabby Patty collab. This was on one of the boxes. This was like on a pamphlet. Honestly, I love just about all of these artists and all the unique ways they have interpreted SpongeBob. This is the type of shit that I appreciate about brands like Vocaloid, because they're always collaborating with artists and other brands to create some really cool stuff. So it's awesome seeing SpongeBob take that approach for the 25th anniversary. And I hope we get to see more stuff like this because SpongeBob is such an iconic character that he doesn't have to be perfectly on model and still be recognizable. So yeah, please do more of these artist stuff. I would definitely try to buy as much as I can. I definitely want to get the card pack from Unbox Industries and that one plush from this really cute Korean artist. In terms of the set itself, when it's built properly, it actually looks really good. The downside is that mine broke, and I'll get into a little bit as to why. I do think this is my fault and not an issue on Area X's for the most part. Though I do wish instead of this wood that there was some way to make this one solid thing instead of one that bends. But the interior, it's really cute. It's like this avant-garde, almost trippy innards of SpongeBob. And it has some cool features to it, like There's a lot of cupcakes, which is probably a reference to his birthday, which was last year, the 25th anniversary, as it says here. I love the triple gooberberry sunrise. I like how this gift is printed instead of a sticker. This heart I have a complicated relationship with, solely because I accidentally put like a stud on the face side, and unfortunately that's some of the reason as to why this thing broke on itself, because I was trying to rebuild this, so I had to build this entire thing twice, and I've been trying to take this wooden thing apart so I can reposition the Patrick, but unfortunately there is no support for him to stand in, so he just kind of flies around, and I wish there was a better way to display him. In terms of the figure itself, it is still really cute, and I even love the chocolate covered heart. It makes me kind of worry for his health, but I like it. Also, it has like this spiral background. I actually use this background for a lot of my videos. I will show it on screen. A lot of the 20th anniversary and onward stuff I actually make custom, like the doodle background and the bubble background. I actually use photos from the merchandise that I own, and for the diamond backgrounds, I just painstakingly crafted that. But anyway, about the set, I wish the background was just printed on the back of this wooden face frame, because instead you can kind of see it on the bottom here, but it's kind of falling off. I know that's due to like the broken wood, but it is a very difficult thing to build. And unfortunately, I am not satisfied with how this turned out, which is a shame because I love this idea, I love the details. It's just the exterior that just kind of ruined it for me. I even love that. This is a cute SpongeBob illustration. This is right up my alley. But as you saw in the instructions, there are two of them. So will SpongeBob's best friend save this? Let's find out. Next up, we have Patrick Star, which thankfully turned out a lot better than SpongeBob. His shape is really cute, and I am just noticing an error that I accidentally put. These wood cardboard thingies, these are meant to be on the front, so I think the perfect thing I feel like I can say on this matter is whoopsie doodle. Also, here's kind of a way you can light it up. You're technically supposed to use the arms due to fear of things falling, which makes sense, but thankfully, the interior of this build is a lot more sturdy than the SpongeBob one. And my major complaint about the Patrick one is fixed here, because SpongeBob has studs that he can latch onto, so he can perfectly sit in place. And I love that. And there's a cute gimmick too of him just launching out of a Krabby Patty. So I feel like they got the innards of SpongeBob and Patrick kind of reversed. You'd think SpongeBob would be the one with the Krabby Patties and Patrick would be the one with the ice cream. Because even though both of them love ice cream and Krabby Patties, I think those are more synonymous with both of their characters. Since SpongeBob works at the Krusty Krab and makes a bunch of Krabby Patties, and Patrick has a love for ice cream, to the point where in Sponge Out of Water, ice cream was his superpower. But I love the way they build the Krabby Patties. I'm guessing that's queen jellyfish? But it's hard to say because it's so small, so maybe it's a princess jellyfish, which is a really cute concept. But overall, I am a lot more satisfied with the Patrick than I am with the SpongeBob. I know these were trending on Instagram for a while. This was before I decided to take a social media detox. But I used to see these all the time, like on my Instagram feed. So I'm guessing these were like pretty trendy to own, and I can definitely see why, because they're cute display pieces. It's just a shame that the Patrick one turned out better than the SpongeBob one. But I ain't complaining. I like the Patrick show. I just wish both of them looked good, and I will definitely try to tape this. Oh, and I forgot to mention this in the video, but another thing I really appreciate about the sponsor is that I have complete creative freedom in terms of what I am allowed to say about these. But even though the SpongeBob turned out less than ideal, I am gonna say my bad on this one, in that nothing I say about these have anything to do with the distributors, because the packaging, the way they package this is borderline SpongeBob proof. Watch the Plankton movie to understand what I'm referencing there. But as it stands, I'm not sure where I'd put these, honestly. Like, in terms of the rating of the entire Area X line, I think the Krusty Krab might be the highest, the Pineapple might be number 2, and the entirety of the Good Friends line, the smaller ones that I tackled in a bigger video, it's hard to say, because I like the gimmick of this one more, but Good Friends is a lot more iconic. But at the same time, these two are both Good Friends, so are they a part of the same line? I don't know, I might put the smaller Good Friends higher solely because we get a lot of locations that we don't have in buildable forms yet, but this is still really cute. And overall, I would recommend these. I just recommend being very, very careful with the wood. Don't do what I did and completely fuck it up. Don't let your OCD get the best of you. Just accept the fact that the Patrick in your SpongeBob is just gonna not sit right ever. But who knows, maybe I even built that section wrong. It's hard to say, really. Wouldn't be the first time I fucked things up with these sets. And that's kind of an issue I started to notice with Area X as a whole. You have to be very, very precise. One wrong move could lead you to having to build the entire thing all over, which is why I probably wouldn't recommend any of these sets to children. They will probably be very frustrated with a lot of the methods and how tedious a lot of the builds are, but you get results. These are definitely adult collector's items, I'd say. Now I'm just gonna let this video footage sit in my Google Photos until I get the Bellotti sets, which are gonna be interesting because those are micro builds. So quick update, I did fix the SpongeBob with double-sided tape because that's the only tape I have, but unfortunately I had to rebuild all of this, and at this point this is broken on me like 6 times, so I honestly stopped giving a shit. So if you had to pick any of these, I would definitely go with Patrick. For the second half of this video, we are actually going to be talking about a company that we have never talked about before on this channel, that being Bellotti. And as per usual, it is sent by our sponsor, Barweer, who sent me this sick-ass sticker. Thank you so much. Say what you will about the stuff inside, but so far, the company sending me these review copies did a phenomenal job with the packaging. I really have no complaint. They were well packaged and put together and were handled with care. I guess the best way to talk about the Bellotti sets is to go over the minifigures. So for context, there are 3 sets, and my biggest issue is that all of the figures are the exact same for each of the sets. Same characters, same expression, same mold, same outfit, same everything. Which is why you're seeing all 3 of these SpongeBobs. I will say, SpongeBob looks pretty good. I do have one issue with the figures, which I will dig into once we talk about the sets. He has like a decent face, though one of them came in with like a black smudge, but my therapist pointed out that I could just color it in with Sharpie. But I don't think that's big of an issue. Again, it's the same for each of them, so if you get like a defective one, there's at least that. It reminds me a lot of the Area X one, though there are things that I wish Area X did. For instance, they actually added dents in the holes, which I really enjoy. And the sleeves are actually a part of the arm, which I also wish Area X did. Next up is Patrick Star. Star of the hit TV show Patrick Star Show and star of the video game Patrick Star Game. He might be getting a spin-off movie, but I'm not sure what's up with that. One issue I kind of have with him is his feet. What are up with his feet? Is there a reason for this? But Patrick looks pretty good. Unique face, unique mold, reminds me a lot of Area X. I just wish they weren't the same figurine 3 times. Squidward might be my least favorite out of all of them, because plain and simple, his face is ugly. He is an ugly motherfucker. I hate it. I hate his face. Look at it. He is ugly and he's proud. And I know why this is. Okay, it's stitched on there pretty good. But basically there's 2 pieces for the head, a piece for the eye, and as you can see, a piece for a nose. I personally would have just made the nose a separate piece, not the eyes. Also, the printing of the eyes didn't do that great of a job. He looks ugly. Second to last, we have Mr. Krabs. He's a little chunky, but I think they translated him pretty well. I did have a hard time with his eye stalks though, I will be honest about that. But they look pretty good from a distance. You can barely tell that I had a hard time with it. Again, it reminds me a lot of Area X, though it still has the weird leg problem. I don't like these legs. Time for the last one. We have Gary, which I will say, I'm not sure if this is intentional or not. This one is colored different. I'm not sure which one is meant to be the actual one. I'm guessing this one, solely because that's the ones we have a duplicate of, but this is honestly the best Gary I've seen. The only real downside is like the lack of green on the bottom, but other than that, it looks pretty good. If I redid that YouTube short of the minifigures, I would probably boost this Gary up to number 1, if I'm being honest. But enough about the minifigures, let's go over the set. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Eugene Krabs does. I say, out of all the builds that we're gonna go over from Bellotti, this one was the hardest. You're basically building it one layer at a time. But one thing I never really liked about the instructions is that they always do it by layer, when I wish they built it like kind of similar to how they would with actual Lego, where they don't just focus on the layer and instead what the focus of the build is. Like for instance, maybe start off with the ground and then put in the accessories like the TV and the chair. But that could be nitpicky. Honestly, after these sets, I'm probably never gonna do micro bricks again. These were difficult, but you get results. This does look like SpongeBob's pineapple, though I can definitely see why the Area X pineapple doesn't brick build the exterior now that I've actually had a set where you build it. But let's look at the inside. Off the bat, it doesn't open right away, so I apologize for the lighting. Here you have the living room, which looks pretty good. The only downside is that these antennas are kind of flimsy, so I can't have them stick up like they do in the instructions. Also, the chair is the same orange as the pineapple. I would have made it red like the bottom base, but for miniature builds of the pineapple, it does look really good. Obviously, it's not as detailed as the Area X pineapple, nor did I expect it to be, but this is still a respectable amount of detail that is put into the set. It even fixed one of the issues I had with the Area X one by having the living room actually be blue. It comes with a bathroom. I believe this tiny thing is meant to be the ringer, but it almost looks like a toilet stool or like one of those squatty potties. Know what I'm talking about? It has like a weird commercial attached to it. The garage also opens up. It's kind of weird how it's in the living room, but then again, Area X doesn't really fix this issue either. I guess it's kind of difficult when SpongeBob typically always has a garage door, but doesn't always have a garage. So I'm not gonna fault Bellotti for that one. I'd only recommend this one if you want a challenge. If you want a challenge of a build and are into micro bricks, then I would recommend this pineapple. If not, then I'd probably recommend some of the other sets in this line first, and maybe end with the pineapple, because I'm guessing these all come in a 3-pack. That's how I got them. But let's move on to the next one. The Krusty Krab, home of the Krabby Patty, because no one else will give it a home. Okay, let's see if I can try out these legs. Okay, they stick on. They serve their purpose. They just look ugly though, like as a figure. Oh yeah, I forgot. The minifigure criticism. Let me delve into that real quick. Was just about all these sets, the characters are too big to interact. Like look at SpongeBob, he can't fit in his bathtub. He is way too big for his couch. Gary should not be twice the size of his couch. So I would have made the figures smaller, or not have included the minifigures at all. Or you know what would be really cool? If these were brick built and they were like just really tiny simplistic versions of the characters. I know I've seen something like that before done in Lego, so if I find it, I'll show it on screen. But something like that would have been really cool. Very avant-garde. But anyway, the Krusty Krab. Even though I say the pineapple was the hardest, this one had some difficult builds to the point where after a while I started building some details wrong. For instance, this flag, I accidentally made it so this side is smaller than this one. That's not how it was supposed to be built. Also, I'm pretty sure this curve is not supposed to come up right here, and these nails are meant to be extruded more. I will say, I only found one other person who talked about these sets, and it broke my heart because he had to break all of them. But one thing that guy actually brought up, I don't remember his name, I'll probably show his name on screen, but he said that this Krusty Krab doesn't open up. I'm here to prove him wrong. It does open up. And once you slide this out, you get the Krusty Krab. I originally had this critique with the Area X Krusty Krab, but now I have this complaint with this one. You can't really open this up. I wish this was able to open up like the other ones so you can actually play in the rooms, because it's built in such a way that you can't break it and actually play in the insides. But even with that said, even if you wanted to play, SpongeBob takes up the entire size of the kitchen. Also, I think they gave SpongeBob 2 grills, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this is a grill and that's the deep fryer. And then I'm pretty sure there's a grill right here, typically where the condiment area is. Mr. Krabs can't even fit in his office. Not even the Lego figures can fit in these. And these are like bigger than a Lego minifigure. Off topic, but do you like my new bracelet? I made it yesterday. Overall, I considered the Krusty Krab to be medium difficulty, though that roof was probably the hardest thing out of all of them. It just would not go through. It's a miracle that I even got it on. So expect some difficulty with the roof. Oh, and a few things that I almost forgot to bring up. They added a little lamp here. I think it's like a light for the boats, but there's no boat here, so it would have made more sense for the Area X Krusty Krab. Also, some of the things are miscolored. For instance, I'm pretty sure this circle is meant to be a black and not a blue, but it doesn't really matter too much. And this antenna, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be like a darker color. Also, I'm pretty sure this bamboo base is meant to be like more of a yellowish, maybe even the same color as the door hinges. But that's a nitpick, and it is the color of bamboo, so I'll give it some slack. And for the grand finale, and personally the one I was the most looking forward to building, Squidward's house. I'm not sure if Area X will ever make a Squidward's house or Patrick's rock, but for now, this is pretty good. The exterior looks really well. However, it is missing this little window here, because typically there's a window here, but when you open it up, you get a lot of iconic locales from Squidward's house, even some niche ones. For instance, this big screen television, which is from the episode Idiot Box. I was not expecting them to do that. I would have expected them to just use the normal TV design. We have this little dining area. We have a window here, which doesn't make any sense because there's no window here. What's even more bizarre is that the pineapple has actual windows. Also, there's 2 windows up here when in the actual build, they're on the 2nd floor. So I don't get what's up with that. Also, the way they built the door is a little weird. You get like this rim around it, which is a little bizarre because this is just meant to be one solid wooden door, but that's pretty nitpicky. But these are really nice micro builds. I like how it has a ton of self-portraits throughout. The one thing that's surprising about the portraits is that it's very interesting how they use stock art for the paintings opposed to actual paintings from the show. I think this one's the only one, but even this is stock art. I would have thrown in at least a Bolden brush personally, but out of all of them, this is probably my favorite just because we haven't gotten an in-depth Squidward's house yet, and this is easily my favorite Squidward's house that is buildable in my collection. Plus, it's the easiest one to build due to how simple it is. So if you want to get these for yourself, I would highly recommend starting with this one first. I saved it for last like an idiot because I wanted to build up suspense, but oh well. I guess my last critique is that, can we stop discriminating against Patrick's rock? Come on, we have the pineapple, we have Squidward's house, we have the Krusty Krab. Where's Patrick's rock? We have 3 Patricks and 0 rocks. I was just kidding. He definitely made a Patrick's rock. What do you mean these aren't micro bricks? Look, he fits right in. It's totally perfect. We have the entire Con Street gang. Okay, I'm lying. This is Five Below. But it does blend in decently well, right? Right? This makes for an alright display piece if you get the Five Below set. But this wraps up my very first sponsorship. I'm not sure what the future holds for the sponsorship, but I hope it goes well, because it means I get to show off more cool stuff like this. I thought the sponsor was very on theme for the channel, so shout out to Barweer. Be sure to check out my code and stuff if you want some cool alternative Lego stuff. These sets aren't perfect, I will be honest. Okay, the Patrick one is close to perfect, but my critiques with these sets have nothing to do with the sponsor. So overall, I am satisfied, and these are really good for free sets. And I am grateful that I was able to get these for free. So thank you, Barweer, for sponsoring this video and for letting me be open and honest about these sets and being able to share them with all of my random people. But anyway, what do you think of these sets? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are you mixed on them? Comment below, let's start a discussion. And as always, it's all Sab from here.